Good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about SSH tunneling and it's part of the productivity lesson. And if you want to follow this productivity lesson without watching this YouTube video, I have a step-by-step guide on my blog and also additional reference materials. So you can reference it and then you can do it on your own. But if you like to follow this YouTube video, just hang on. Local tunneling, also called as local port forwarding. Local tunneling enables the connection from client machine to the target machine via SSH connection. How this works? So you have a web server running in AWS on port 80 where you have only connection to this web server machine on port 22. So you wanted to test how this web server works, and if you enable some features, you wanted to test the features without opening the port 80 firewall. Let's get into this demo. For this demo, I have a EC in AWS which is installed HTTPD web server. So this is my inboard rule like that. So it has port 22, port 443 is open, port 80 is not open. So I connected to this EC2 machine to show the web servers are running. So how do you check it? There's a couple of commands. You can use netstat to grep listen to see what is actually listening. So you can see it's listening on TC22, port 80 and some other port. And also you can check by running the curl command from here, localhost. So you can see it's returning the server is Apache. So we can see it's running at this moment. So how do I can access this Apache or HTTPD server outside of this EC2 machine? So by default, if I try on my machine, curl the same command with the public IP address. I think this is the one. You can see there is no connectivity. In order to do that, go back to the other terminal, exit, and then SSH on a side your PEM file, and then -L is the command to do it. And then how do you want to connect to the servers on which is port 8080 in this case I'm using. You can choose any safer port which is not conflicting with any other services on your local machine, and you will be accessing via localhost on that machine which is running in port 80, and then this is the server you want to connect via SSH. So once you enable this one and then go to this machine which is your laptop terminal, I can try test it whether via this time instead of using the public IP address you use localhost and port 880. You can see it able to return the result. So in that way you can see you can access this web service without opening the port 80. That's one of the nicest features if you use the tunneling. Also you can see if I use the localhost on port 80 on the browser, you can see it comes with the test patch which is Apache 2.4. So we can able to test your access your application without burning the actual port 80. If I go back to my terminal and exit this one, which takes time, and refresh this page, you can see it cannot be found. So from this tunneling is the easiest way to the local tunneling is the easiest way to test your applications without waiting for the firewall burns to happen. The second one is the remote tunneling, also called as remote port forwarding. How this one works? So basically why we use that one. So basically from my blog, I'm just reading this one. It's useful in some cases where the client have access to the website. Like in your laptop, you have access to some website, but the server running in AWS or some on-premise or cloud where you don't have access to the website. So, but you wanted to access that website from the server. How do you achieve it? That's where the remote tunneling comes in. You have the same client and access the server, which is running in AWS via port 22. But the server don't have access to the GitHub on port 43. But for some reason, you want the servers to connect to the GitHub to do some operation. So this is where the remote tunneling is come to help you to achieve the connectivity. So let's see how this one works. We'll get into those demo. So in order to do that, I need to show you from the server where you cannot connect. Me to my terminal without any forwarding. I'm going to show you. I think I've run this command already before. History, great, GitHub. I'm going to use the same command rather than typing it. So you can see it asks why, because if you go to my AWS rules, outbound rules, you can only allow the address to my only particular IP address. In normal enterprise applications or enterprise apps, every connection wants to talk to the internet has to go to the egress proxy, they call outbound proxy, where most of this connections is blocked from the proxy level. So you have access to from your laptop. So you wanted to use that access to connect to this machine. The server don't have access to the github.com. So which I showed you in my EC2 servers trying to access and it's not returning any results. Where in my local desktop, I run the send command and you can see I'm able to access the github.com. So I have a connectivity from my laptop, but I don't have a connectivity from the server. So how do I access the GitHub from the server using the connectivity we already have from the laptop? That's where the remote tunneling comes in, also called as remote port forwarding. So how do I achieve it? It's a similar command, but in this time we don't use L, we use R to indicate it's a remote tunneling. So you follow the same method, -R. This time I'm telling I wanted to access the github.com via 4.8 and it's the github.com is listening on 4.43 and this is my SSH server. To enable this one, once you've connected, you can use the same command which we used last time, but this time only difference, instead of using github.com you use the localhost because we are tunneling on 888. Now you can see this one, server github.com. Right now I'm able to access the GitHub from the server itself. So it is another advantage without burning any kind of URL whitelisting in the egress proxies. You can test the connection as a temporarily to see how your program works and how your website works, or any feature works, instead of waiting for a long time. This is kind of a backdoor or hack using the remote tunneling. I hope you enjoy this lesson and I'll come to you next time with another topic.